Last time out of the year for coming chance save, we had just gotten to the winter break and we needed to do really well in the next two matches in the Champions League. But we've beaten Wrocław and we're looking very good. Could we continue this momentum after coming back for the winter break to play in the Champions League? Well, the first game we had was against AC Milan, and can I feel justified to be disappointed by this result? Because I think we actually made them work for this. Now, admittedly, we weren't very good in the first half and we were made to pay, but when we got the goal very early in the second half, I was given hope that we could at least get a point here. Unfortunately, they scored late on, but this is a good sign, a very good sign that we can actually take on some of the best teams in the world. And it was actually our first home defeat in the Champions League in over a year. So, it says a lot that it's taken so long to do it. Last season, we didn't even lose at home. It was the away form that let us down. This year, we've lost at home for the first time. And it's cost us because we were beaten by Real Madrid, despite the fact we took the lead at one point. Yep, we were in front at the Santiago Bernabeu, and I was absolutely delighted by this. But then they equalised immediately, and I was thinking, oh, okay. That's a shame, because if we had actually held on for this win, we would be still in the Champions League, because this was enough to knock us out of the Champions League. We missed down the Champions League by 2 points in the end, and even Monaco, who got 10 points, missed out. If we had beaten AC Milan, we would have been through. They would have actually slipped out of the top three. They would have finished in 8th, so I don't think it's the end of the world there. Whereas Real Madrid, if we had beaten them, they would have slipped down to 11 points, and we've actually would have had the same amount of points as Real Madrid. But it wasn't to be this year. It wasn't going our way. And yeah, a shame. Who knew that not playing English clubs would be our downfall? I didn't see that coming. Pogoń Szczecin were beaten and failed to get through because they only got 7 points. Wisła Kraków, though, were through. They got 16, so there is still one Polish team left in the European competitions. Hopefully they do well. We'll come back to this later. Wolf Hajduk continue to cause us problems in the league, though. It's the 3rd year running we've failed to score against them, let alone beat them, I think. And this time, I have no idea how we didn't win this game, but it's one of those games where their goalkeeper becomes God, and he just absolutely outperforms the rest of the team. We then went to Lech Poznan, and Christian Kimmich got a hat-trick, so that's a nice performance and a good response to 3 rather disappointing results in the previous 3 matches. I think it's Lech Poznan too, who are probably the 2nd best team in the country in terms of their playability. Absolutely delighted. We then took on Cracovia and we beat them by a goal to 0. They were barely in this game and we absolutely trounced them. It was a delight to be able to do this well against our local rivals, even if we should have scored more goals. But then we went to Radomir Radom and beat them 4-0, having scored no goals in the first half. We absolutely decided to destroy them in the second half. 4 goals to 0, very good performance, and I'm delighted by this result because I genuinely wasn't sure if we were going to score 1 point, but at least we did. We then took a Wisła Kraków in the Puchopolski quarterfinal and beat them 2-0 to assert our dominance again. And asserting our dominance is always a delight. And Palachowski doing himself justice once again. Górnik Zabrze were our next opponent, and it took a penalty to beat them, but we got all 3 points again. And we're looking strong once more in the league. We finished things off with a 3-2 victory against Myslica, and this was a very nice result. 2 goals in the first 5 minutes absolutely made sure we were in control. Yes, they got 2 goals back, but we got another goal in between those 2 goals to ensure we weren't going to be giving up all 3 points. Yes, they did cause a few problems later in the game and just throughout the match, but we were so good early on that we just absolutely killed off any chances they had of doing well. But still, as things stand, we are first. We are 18 points clear of Legia Wrocław, who are in second. This is their best performance in years. I don't know what's caused it, but I'm not complaining because I know they're a good team. I would like to see Lech Poznan do better though, because I think they can be good. They just haven't shown it in Europe in recent years, which is not ideal. Wisła Kraków being in 5th, despite their European adventures, which they're still in by the way, is quite nice. And in fact, I will show you how they've been doing. They drew 1-0 away to Braga in the first match. They rescued it. And then in the second leg, they won 3-0. So they've been doing really well to get to the round of 16. So we at least got another team in the round of 16 in Europe for the first time in a while. That isn't us. It is just unfortunate they've got Arsenal to deal with because, well, it's Arsenal. They're good. They won 2-0 the first leg, Arsenal. I don't see Vizela Krakow doing well in the second leg. And it's today, so I don't think they're going to survive this, but if they did go through, then congratulations, they pulled off the ultimate upset. As for ourselves in the cup, we've got Jagiellonia and we'll take on either Górnik Zabrze or Katowice in the final of the Fortuna Puchapalski. I swear, this is in the second tier, right? Oh no, they're in the top tier. Fair enough. I keep forgetting in the top tier. It feels like a team I expect to be in the second tier after so many years of the save, but happily, I'm wrong. But we've also got our latest youth intake, and it's not amazing. I'll be honest with you and say this might be the worst intake we've had in a long while, but we got a lot of foreign intake people, so there you go. And I'm going to go through the worst of them because Masanori Fukushima is not amazing, not good, but he's Japanese. He's come from a Japanese affiliate, so that's great. He's never going to sign for me, but I just thought I'd show him off anyway. The same with Ko Shangzhou. And again, never going to be signed for me, never going to be part of my team, but the fact he's come through our affiliate links is useful. And the same with Yu Shenji, and again, came through our Chinese affiliate this time, so that's 3 different Asian affiliates that sending us players. Not very good players, mind you, but they're still sending us players, which is always good. That being said, we did get a Japanese affiliate player that we can actually use. Now, admittedly, I don't think he's what I'm looking for. Mostly because his marking is 5, his tackling is 5. But for the attacking side of things, he's actually not terrible. And defensive winger, not really his style, but he's not amazing outside of his crossing and dribbling. And maybe his decision making, but I could absolutely work on this guy and potentially make him better. So that's a good sign. Ganeshi Takamane is not terrible. Takamini? If it's one of the two, let me know. I know that the Taka part is correct. Sebastian Sved, or Sebastian the Swede. That's literally the translation it came up with in Polish. That's amazing. Sebastian Sved, though, is looking good. I love the fact he's literally nicknamed. We could literally just nickname him Sebastian the Swede, and it actually makes sense because it's a direct translation. But Sebastian Sved, goalkeeper, looks good. I'm excited by him, and he's very consistent, so could he be long-term succeeding Novak? Ooh, that's a fancy thought, but he's good either way. I like what I see with this guy. He's a promising goalkeeper. We like promising players, and there you go. Remigus Savada is the other player that's got 4-star potential ability or more. One thing that stands out immediately, he's 4'11". He is perhaps the shortest player to ever come through my youth academy, and I almost want to play him just to see what he looks like on the match engine, because he's so short. He's also a player that likes to get into the opposition area, so Mazzala immediately comes to mind for this guy. Or box to box. Because of that one trait, I'm actually willing to make him a player that will go forward. Yes, he's better as a playmaker, admittedly. 14 passing, 14 technique, 17 teamwork, 11 vision, 13 decision making, but oh my word, he is exciting to me. I would love to see how he does, honestly, just because he's so short and he's got no strength, got no jumping reach, but I don't need that with some of the things I want him to do. This guy could be fun to watch. He really could be. Franziska Leopold is a striker who drills on the ball, but not the ball past his opponent, which is an interesting combination. Apparently he's a poacher. I don't see it. Well, I could see him being a poacher, but I also can see him being someone who can go forward and be an advanced forward for my role. I also could see him being a shadow striker and an inside forward. So yeah, this guy definitely feels like an inside forward in some regards. And I could use an inverted winger on attack, but he's got the foot for it. This guy's be fun. I think he could be a very useful experiment to try out. A 3.5 star potential ability player, but he's useful. Pietri Tomczak is another player that could be useful. Apparently he's a target forward at 6 foot. What I do appreciate is the fact he tries killer balls often, and given he's got a passing of 12, vision of 13, flair of 13. It's not terrible, but he does like to try and play his way out of trouble as well. He's very inconsistent with it, so that's an issue. Wojciech Paskowski is another inconsistent player who doesn't look like he's going to be very good this year, but he's resilient, so that's a fun fact. So Patrick Kowalski is the only person who could be a defender in this setup that actually looks decent, but he's also 5'9". He's definitely a fullback somewhere. Financially, we've now got £172 million. We are very close, in fact, to being in our new stadium. So this is our last year in our current stadium. And the fact it's just 3 months away from being here and we're getting questioned about it is wonderful, to say the least. Either way, though, I'm going to end this here. Is it worth even doing the league stuff anymore, given that we're so dominant in the league these days? I want to hear your thoughts and opinions on that, because if we win the League Cup and Super Cup trophy for the 3rd year running, should I really be talking about the domestic competitions anymore? I want to hear your opinions on all of it, because I find it fascinating at this point. I really do. But anyway, until next time, goodbye, and well, good night.